I think we know why Kamala Harris is pandering to black men, offering to give them up to $20,000 in loans to start a business and other things to lure black men in. But let's check out some polling data, which is why she's panicking.
And sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, you know, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That's a huge drop. That's 40 points.
What's most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened in this case. How about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture, you know. We're looking once again, if younger black men, it looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon. It's the same thing among black men overall. Again, part of a similar trend, but here actually the drop-off isn't as dramatic, right? Barack Obama won him by 85, then you see 71 with Clinton, 69, Biden, basically the same thing, holding steady. But here, again, very, very weak, only a 54-point margin. Now, again, still winning them by a large margin, but considerably lower than what we're used to, certainly considerably lower what we had during the Obama years. The bottom line is Kamala Harris with younger black men and then black men overall putting in historically weak performance for a Democratic candidate.
Is she getting any relief with black women?
All right. So, you know, we're talking about the trend line, right? And black women, look, she's doing better with black women than she is doing among black men. But here, there isn't a trend line almost until we get to Kamala Harris. So, again, this is a black margin among black women. Look, Obama won him by 93, very large margin. Clinton won him by 93, a very large margin. Biden did a little bit worse at 85. But then you look here, and you get a 71-point margin. Now, again, these are large margins, but the bottom line is when you're talking about the base of the Democratic Party, you would think that Kamala Harris would do very well among black women based upon history, and of course she would be the first black woman president, but she's actually doing the worst for a Democratic candidate among black women since 1960, if this holds, John.
And again, when you look at the numbers here, whenever you come in, looking at the trends is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, the trend line is not looking very good, and her being who would be the first black president, the first woman president who happens to be black, she's not doing as well as Democrats would like her to do. So she's pandering. This is the plan right here. Kamala Harris will create an opportunity agenda for black men. Provide 1 million loans that are fully forgivable up to $20,000 for black entrepreneurs and others to start a business. Support education, training, and good mentorship programs that lead to good paying jobs for black men, including pathways to become teachers. Protect cryptocurrency investment so black men who make them know their money is safe. Launch a national health initiative focused on the illness that disproportionately impact black men. Legalize recreational marijuana and create opportunities for black men to succeed in this new industry. It's all about pandering, all about buying these votes. It's not going to work. It's not. Black men, I'm half black myself. Black men don't want this kind of pandering. Look, black men just want good paying jobs, tax cuts, things that spur economic growth. Not these handouts, not somebody treating them like just targeting them as an individual group. But let's hear what Gutfeld had to say about that, because he breaks it down for you very nicely.
Greg, the truth is that she is losing ground. Everybody knows it, specifically with black men that the Democrat Party has taken for granted for the longest time. And why can't she win them over?
Well, I guess it's because she doesn't see them as individuals, but as groups. And when you see people as groups, you only go toward them when you need to exploit them. It is interesting that she's her proposal to entice black men include forgivable loans and the legalization of weed. I mean, that's kind of appealing to the lowest common denominator. She's essentially bribing them. I mean, what is a forgivable loan? That's not a loan. Who pays? If you pay off a forgivable loan, you're as dumb as Kamala. You know, but it is. I mean, think about it. Free money, free weed. It's kind of racist. I mean, wait another week. She'll be offering 40s of Old English and Newports. She's buying them off.
I love Newports.
I bet you do. But I mean, it's like free stuff and drugs. That'll get them. That'll buy them off. To me, that's racist. And it's also racist to expect non-black people to pay for the black person's loan. Because who else is going to pay for that if it's like forgiven? Quote, forgiven. It's not forgiven. It's just shifted over to somebody else's burden. But the thing is, this is the mistake. You're looking at individuals not as people, but as groups. Therefore, you think that if they're leaving you, it must be about their identity. Mm-hmm. And that identity then must be exploited. So you play up these racial tropes.
That's exactly what that is. You don't see them as individuals. You see them as a group. And the reason why the black men are shifting, I'm not saying he's going to get 50% of the black vote or black men and 50% are not going to vote for Trump. 15, 20%, 25%. Trump has a good shot of getting that. But the reason why is because they saw opportunity under him. When he cut taxes and regulations, it spurred economic growth. He had these opportunity zones, which I talked about in a previous video, which went to investments were put into these areas, which helped spur economic growth. It created jobs, it created businesses, and people had more money in their pocket. And they look at it from that standpoint. I've seen multiple videos of black men saying, I have more money in my pocket when Trump was in office. My business thrived more. And he wasn't pandering to black men. He was trying to cut taxes and spur economic growth for people of all demographics. And that's why they are going to Trump.
In fact, individuals make individual choices for individual reasons. A white guy could want to have free weed, or legalization of weed, and
white guys smoke weed too.
Loans for their car as well. So it's like, it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's just a bribe. I just want to say one thing about Joy Reid. She said this abandonment by blacks is happening despite the Hitler talk. It's happening because of the Hitler talk. No one is buying it, right? It's actually hysterical and insulting to people when you constantly bring up the word Hitler. And the most damaging thing that's happening right now, there are these polls among young people who are saying Hitler had some good ideas. And the reason for that is that you lowered the bar of what Hitler could be compared to. And now people are going, oh, is he that bad? I keep hearing about him all the time. Jesse just said that the other day.
In the green room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's targeting these groups, and it's not going to work. Look, you see people as individuals, and they respect that a lot more. And this is the problem with the Democrat Party is they pander to Hispanics. Now they're losing the Hispanic vote, and they're going after black men now. You see Magic Johnson do it. They pulled out Obama, trying to get out the black men to vote, talking down to them like they're his slaves. Better get in line and vote for Kamala when he was in Pittsburgh, because they know that they're in trouble. And I saw a survey that had 1 in 4 black men supporting Trump. Another survey. It's 25%. Imagine if he gets 25% of the black vote, black men, 30%, and then he gets 15% overall. I mean, that's going to be huge. And I think that campaign is making huge inroads with all demographics. Hispanics are shifting towards Trump. He could get upwards of 40 to 45%. I believe he got almost 40% last time, which is an increase over 2016. Excuse me. You see it here in Texas where the Republicans win upwards of 40% of the Hispanic vote. And I think you're going to see that number increase. And the same thing with the black vote. That's exactly what's going to happen, in my opinion, in November. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how this plays out. But people aren't buying what Kamala's selling. All right, guys, we're going to leave that right there. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Thank you. Take care.